A gentle rain falls on the marshy tidewater country of the Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge on the eastern shore of Maryland. It's late fall and the Canada geese are on the move, announcing with their noisy calls that winter is on the way. Nearby, a hunter and his guide walk warily alongside a wooded area. It's deer hunting season, but these men are not looking for the tracks of any ordinary deer. They are hunting a non-native species of deer called the Sika, an import from Asia. Maryland has the only known free-ranging herd outside of Japan. For many hunters, these smaller deer with their distinctive colorations are considered an exotic trophy. Maryland Sika herds, which number about 5,000, are confined to the lower eastern shore. They have adapted well to the grassy marshlands and swampy woodlands since they were released here nearly 100 years ago. Guides like T.J. Jenkins specialize in hunting these animals with high-powered bows. He says Sikas are an elusive quarry and a big challenge for hunters.
They're never in a hurry to get anywhere, and they're covered. You look and they're not there, and then you turn your head and they're there, and they're very quiet, a lot of times. And I've seen them stand and look around for half hour and then move.
It's late afternoon when T.J. Jenkins and his client arrive at a small camouflaged hide at the edge of a clearing. The hunter, Tim Lambert, an electrician from northern Maryland, is shown where he'll shoot from.
Just stay away from this. So. Okay. Stay away like so much. Okay.
He'll be alone.
Good luck. All right, thanks.
Lambert has hunted Sika before. He knows how challenging the hunt is.
It's very hard for you to visually see them until they get right up on you. You got to rely on your hearing, just about all your senses in order to be able to detect when they're close by.
For Lambert, the waiting has only just begun. It's still several hours before dusk when the Sika normally come out to feed.
2 whitetail, you take 2 does.
Lambert is one of hundreds who each year seek the challenge of hunting this elusive deer.
There ain't no buttons on it.
For Maryland environmental officials who manage this herd, these hunters are important allies.
They're different than whitetails.
Brian Eiler is a deer biologist with the State Department of Natural Resources. His job is to catalog the number of deer harvested each year and gather important statistics, such as the deer's sex and weight.
Hunting is the most effective, and with Sika deer, probably the only practical way of doing any kind of population control. Using hunting is really the only way to do that. These deer are in such thick cover, and there's no way that you could get the manpower that it would take to do this without hunters would be impossible.
Hunters harvest hundreds of Sika deer each year in Maryland. But despite that, the population models show that the herd is slowly growing. State officials would like to keep the numbers at current levels.
How things going?
Good to see you again.
For Brian Eiler, talking with hunters and guides like T.J. Jenkins gives him important information about what's going on in the Sika herd.
We view hunters as a valuable resource. Our hunters spend far more time in the woods than what employees of the department can do. So they're out there, they're seeing the animals on a more routine basis than what we are.
Wildlife managers in the area also give state officials important information about the herd.
Yeah, I've seen the Sika deer coming out of the marsh late in the evenings, coming up to feed on the forest floor on these acorns.
Larry McGowan is one of the managers at the Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge, an area of dense woods and vast wetlands. He says if Sika numbers increase too much, they might compete with migrating geese and ducks for limited food on the reserve's agricultural lands.
And one of the primary purposes that the refuge was established was as a wintering area for waterfowl. And we grow lots of crops here. And if we didn't keep the deer in check, they'd be competing directly with the primary purpose the refuge was established for waterfowl.
On Assateague Island, where there is a smaller population of Sika, the problems are different. Here, the deer can be spotted grazing alongside the park's roads. Park officials aren't concerned about that, but they are worried about the fragile ecosystem of this barrier island. Beach grasses are highly important to build up the island's dunes, and park managers have discovered that these grasses are a favored food of the Sika. Mark Strum is an ecologist at the Assateague Island National Seashore.
The sikadeer in particular are affecting the ecological processes that naturally occur on a barrier island. They do tend to forage in the dune areas, especially during the growing months when insect levels can be high.
For Brian Eiler, the task of managing this herd of non-native deer is a challenging one. He spent much of his career observing these animals in the wild with their distinctive way of running by bouncing on all 4 feet. When alarmed, they make a peculiar barking sound. As a deer biologist, he's fascinated how the Sika have learned how to survive and thrive in habitats far different from the mountainous area in Japan, where they're from.
It is exciting. It's very interesting. It's a natural evolution type experiment going on in the wild. The species over here, they started from probably a handful, maybe 2 individuals, and they've expanded to a roughly 5,000 with no apparent negative consequences to that small gene pool.
Tim Lambert is also fascinated by the Sika. He comes down a couple of times a year to hunt for these deer. He's rarely successful. It's early evening and the light is fading when he finally hears some noises.
It kind of sends chills up your spine when one bugles next to you. It's really exciting. You use just about all your senses.
But even with all his senses alert, Tim Lambert is not ready for what he sees. Instead of Sika, he finds himself staring at a small family of wild turkeys. Not exactly the game he's seeking. Once again, he will go home empty-handed. No big surprise to T.J. Jenkins, who has been a guide hunting these elusive deer for nearly 15 years.
You know, with these little critters, I'd say probably about 55%, 60% of the people leave without, taking a shot even. But a lot of them get to see them, and they're happy about that, seeing something not many have ever seen before.
Mm-hmm.